Hello guys, I hope you're doing great. I want to do this video specifically to tackle the issue about the birth certificate. Remember, the birth certificate is very important in many things in your life, and more so during the diversity visa process. This is one of the documents and very important documents that are required during the interview. And in this case, you are supposed to produce original copies of your birth certificate and those of your derivatives. And if not, get the certified copies of the same. And also come with the photocopy of them as well. But there are some individuals in several countries that are unable to obtain a birth certificate, maybe because of one reason or the other. And one reason as to why some may not be able to get an original or certified birth certificate is because of governmental issues and problems. Another reason could be that the official record of your birth has been lost by the government institution or the civil institution. And those things happen. If they cannot retrieve your birth records, then it might be hard for them to produce a birth certificate for you. And in all these cases, if you are unable to obtain a birth certificate for the DV lottery process, there are alternatives for this. And the first alternative for this is you might get a baptismal certificate. So the baptismal certificate can stand in for the birth certificate in this case where you cannot obtain your birth certificate. But for the baptismal certificate to be legitimate, to be sufficient for this process, it should contain the date of your birth. It should also contain the place where you were born, and it should also contain the names of both of your parents. And these names must be in full. So it should contain your names, the place of birth, the date of birth, the name of the parents, and they should be in full. In that case, it should stand in for the birth certificate. If you cannot get the baptismal certificate, the other option is you get an affidavit certificate of your birth from a close relative, and if possible from the mother. The affidavit of birth can stand in for the certificate of birth. And an example is those people coming from Somalia. If you are interviewed at Nairobi, you will be required to produce the affidavit of birth. And this should come from a close relative, and more so from the mother. And it should state the names, it should state the date of birth, it should state the names of the parents, and the maiden name of the mother should be in that affidavit of birth. So the affidavit of birth also qualifies as a support document in place of the birth certificate. There's also another option if these two are not possible, and this is specifically for adopted children. So if you have an adopted child and you cannot retrieve the birth certificate, But you have the adoption papers, the legal adoption papers. The adoption papers, they can stand in for the birth certificate. And of course, the adoption papers, they should contain the full names of the child. It should contain the date of birth, the place of birth, if possible, the names of the parents, and the adoption details. And in this case, it can stand in as a birth certificate for that adopted child. Those are the papers that can replace the birth certificate in case the original birth certificate or the certified birth certificate is unobtainable because of one reason or the other. So nothing should hinder you from getting a successful interview because of the reason of lacking the birth certificate. Obtain one of those mentioned documents and you will be safe to proceed. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope the information has been clear. Please like the video, share it out, subscribe, and also support the channel. And let's meet in the next video.